Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How
All
are you doing?
right. We are Business Development TV, TT. Today's broadcast is for marketing executives, marketing managers, supervisors, and business owners who want 250,000 more sales per month from their online platforms. Christmas is 3 months away, and we want to give you today in August the criteria of how successful marketers make decisions around their onboarding project for their e-commerce sales. Today's broadcast is a snippet of what we will be giving you in 3 weeks' time. So today we are going to be diving into questions around your e-commerce project. Are you asking yourself how to choose the right technology and software system that's going to generate the online sales? Should I build an e-commerce website or add a widget onto my add a widget onto my website? If you already have a Shopify, a WooCommerce, or a page on somebody else's e-marketplace, the question you should be asking if you are asking this question to yourself, what am I missing to generate the sales? Listen up, lean in, have we got a show for you? We have invited our friend Penny Kelly to join us today. She is going to be touching base on the key areas most traditional marketers are not considering when it comes to their e-commerce onboarding project. They are not asking these questions. Why is their e-commerce website and their page not generating the cash that they expected? In 3 weeks' time, we will join you back again and deliver to you the blueprint of what a sales funnel looks like. A sales funnel that generates the cash that you want. And you can apply this blueprint to any platform. So today we're going to be covering the answers so that when it comes to the actual actions of putting that blueprint sales funnel on your website, it's going to generate the sales that you need at Christmas 2020, regardless of what happened in the first part of the year.
Yeah. And before we jump into all of that, I just want to introduce our guest today, Penny Kelly. Penny and I, we've met Penny through various communities. All right. So we are excited to have Penny here, and she is a marketing strategy expert. Okay. Also a business growth coach, has helped many clients create their first leads and first sales online, and also helped 6-figure, 7-figure earners scale and continue to sustain that level of income. She has over 20 years in corporate sales management experience, and 6 years in growth coaching to help clients achieve profitable business growth. All right. Because we can make the money, but you want to make the profits, right? Penny has also been featured in multiple online communities. She hails from Covington, Louisiana, USA. And, I love this. I love that, your kids are off at college. I'm waiting for that day.
Well, okay, so they're sort of off at college.
Well, they're off at college and back home.
Yeah. My son, as of now, my son is still getting to move into the dorm as a brand new freshman. He just graduated from high school. His school is very close to us, and as of now, they'll be in the dorms. My daughter learned last week that they'll be starting remote. So this is her senior year of university. She's applying to grad schools and fellowships and those things. But we just set up our dining room. We totally remodeled the dining room to make her an office. Not really remodeled, just more rearranged, right?
Yeah.
Rearranged and repurposed. So she has her own space for school now.
Very good. It's important because your brain actually behaves differently according to the environment.
Yeah, and they need to be in a different room than their bedroom for that. Like, I know she's been in an on-campus apartment for a couple of years now, so she needs that separation to like power down at night. for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get started. Tell us what you have for us.
So I want to keep it very basic because I think that the basic things are what most people miss.
Mm-hmm.
And the good news, bad news, right? The bad news is if you build it, they may not come.
Seriously?
You know, we all think, hey, if you build it, they will come. We watched Field of Dreams, right? He built the baseball field and people were lined up miles away with their headlights on to come in when the movie went off. That's not the way online business works. There are millions and millions of websites out there. There are millions and millions of online stores out there. So it's about making yourself known for something, putting your personality into your business, and showing your potential customers and your audience how you can help them, how your solution or your product, your course, your pen and paper, whatever you're selling, can help them solve a problem or achieve a desire that they want. And one of the best ways I've learned this, if any of you guys have studied marketing or copywriting, Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey talks about fables and stories over the history of mankind and how they follow a very similar arc. And I got hooked a few Christmases ago on those little Hallmark movies, right? And it's funny because you can set your clock for the movement of the story. If you want to study how to move a storyline and take people through a story process, watch Hallmark movies. Watch any blockbuster out of Hollywood. They all follow the same format. It almost ruins movies for you, but I find it fascinating, right? The thing to remember in the hero's journey is people love talking about themselves, right? That means you as a business owner, you're going to naturally want to tell them what your qualifications are and why they should work with you and what makes you special. Whereas you need to see it through their lens and see them as the hero in their own story. And you are simply the trusted guide. You're Yoda or Obi-Wan. You're not Luke or Leia or even Han, right? And so you are showing them the way to get to where they want to be, to shine in their own story. And when you can position yourself in that way, it's easier for them to see what's in it for them. Right. And I know Hillary, you learned, and Bernie, you too, the same from some of the same experts I did early in our online journey. Their favorite radio station is WII-FM. What's in it for me, right? Yeah. And so if we always approach it with how we can show them what's in it for them and how we can help them, then we can become their expert. And you're going to sprinkle in your expertise and your knowledge and the value of your products and why they're better than the competition and all that. You sprinkle that throughout. However, it's always got to come back to them and how it helps them. So we think in terms of features versus benefits when we're selling things. We like to spew the features, right? The beautiful tailored double-breasted suit, it's got gold buttons and it's got, detailed tailoring. It's fully lined. Yeah, you know what? Put it on and it makes you look 20 pounds lighter. That's what's going to sell it.
The last part.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do.
Benefit. It's not the features that it's not what it does or what it has. It's what it does for them. Right. And that's what makes the difference for sure. And the same is true in every step of your sales funnel. So anyone who's afraid of a sales funnel, it's just a process. If you've had a conversation with somebody, if you've been at a public festival or a nightclub and you've walked up to somebody you were attracted to and walked away with their phone number, guess what? You just executed a sales funnel. You asked them for something and they gave it to you. And you've executed a repetitive number of sales funnels if you've gotten married, and especially if you've stayed married.
Yes. Every day we start a sales funnel and we finish a sales funnel.
That's right. We master the art of negotiation.
Yes.
compromise and teamwork and all those things, right? It's no different with your potential clients and customers. And it starts with building up your audience and making sure that you're showing your content and your value to the right people. And that's where I think a lot of people with online e-commerce business, especially, they think, well, you know, these barbecue tongs, they're for everybody in the whole wide world. Well, not really, you know?
Yeah.
And so getting really clear on who you want to serve before you think about the what you want to give them. And it's a little bit different if you have a brainstorm idea for a new invention or something, then you may immediately simultaneously know who that serves. But for most of us, figuring out who we want to serve, I always think of, hey, when I have a mastermind that people are spending 6 figures to participate in 5 years from now, who do I want those people to be?
Right.
Who do I want to be sitting around the boardroom table with all day and hanging out on the beach at night? And I enjoy spending time with them when we're talking business and when we're just hanging out. Like, who are those people? Right. Where do I find them? And for me, that's who I like. I spent 20 years in corporate doing what I was told. So I'm ready to, you know, spend time with the people I want to spend time with, like you guys. Right. And so it's important that we get really clear on that who first, and then almost reverse engineer how we can serve them. And if you already have products and you have a retail store, you probably already know who your customers are. You just have to find more people like those people online. And with the tools we have available to us online, that's really not that hard to do. If you already have a customer list, you can upload a spreadsheet into Facebook or Google, and they help you find other people like those people that are already your customers. So they really do make it as easy for you as possible. People who have privacy concerns, and I know in a lot of countries, we have privacy concerns with uploading things to the internet and building audiences and targeting specific people. And I basically came to terms with the fact that any of us who think we actually have privacy at this point are probably just fooling ourselves. So
just give it up, right? Just give it up.
You know, if you have accounts on social and you've ever clicked on an ad, then it's out there. Like, I don't like give anybody my social or like openly give away my credit card number or anything, right? But those basic things like an email address or a phone number, like it's pretty much public knowledge at this point.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
And so it's keeping it simple.
How would someone in retail with high competition, because I mean, everybody and their neighbor is selling Fitbits. Everybody and their friend in the gym is selling what do you call it? Tablets and
juice.
And phones and juice.
And supplements and
supplements. You know, how do you differentiate yourself as a person who's selling a high competitive product?
Right. I think it honestly starts with telling a story about you and your brand. And that's, if you guys haven't read or listened to Donald Miller's book, Building a Story Brand, it's really focused on your client as the star and you're their guide and you guide them through. But everything in your website is set up that way. Everything in your sales messages are set up that way. So it's being clear on how you're different, not better. When we start,
how much pictures should we have of ourselves?
Just enough to identify.
Okay.
You know,
not plastered all over the website, right?
No, it doesn't.
Me and my dog, me here, me here.
I have one on like the main page, my homepage, and then I have a couple on like the about page of like, hey, here's a picture of me with my family. Excuse me, here's a picture of me with like some other internet people that are maybe well-known people that started before I did and things like that. But it's really that you want to be open about who you are, right? And that's part of the authenticity that people want to see. They don't want to feel like you're the Wizard of Oz and like the man behind the curtain, right? But yeah, exactly. But you want to make that genuine connection, and that comes from being different, not better.
Right.
Right. Now, Hillary and I were talking yesterday about John Maxwell graduates.
Mm-hmm.
John Maxwell learning program. I'm sure. I didn't look at it. I haven't looked at the price, but I'm sure it's pretty high, and I believe it's very intense. It's a lot of learning that they do, and so therefore, kudos to you if you've gone through a John Maxwell training, and you can now teach what he trained you to do. How do you differentiate yourself as the business coach that can deliver the services?
When we're selling coaching services,
Mm-hmm.
we're either selling the problem that they want to solve, or we're selling the result. The method we use to get there is usually not something they really care about. They want to either get rid of the problem, or they want to achieve the result. And if we can show them the path, how we can help them do whichever of that is their priority, the rest is really irrelevant for most people. It does give you a little bit of authority in their eyes if you've gone through a specific program or something like that. But ultimately, they want to see that you have helped other people achieve a similar result or solve a similar problem. When we're just starting out, that can be difficult because you may not have a lot of testimonials or social proof. And you can, like for me, a lot of the clients that I work with, I have confidentiality agreements with. So I can't always show like ads manager and what return on ad spend we're getting or what the profitability of a launch was, because I'm not allowed to share that information. And so it just comes down to speaking with confidence and knowing that you can. And while there's a lot of business training out there that talks about how important clarity is over certainty, and in sales, he who is most certain is going to win. So having that degree of certainty that you can help someone solve that problem when you're having a conversation with them, that confidence comes through.
All right. So let's talk about tactics, trends, and hacks. How does that line up against mindset in terms of being able to generate these sales?
I think mindset is the single most important thing for any business owner, especially when you have to like rapidly change lanes like a lot of retailers are doing right now. And you have to go learn this whole new skill set to do things online. And the thing is, if you were successful offline, those same personality traits and inner discipline are going to help you be successful online as well. They transfer pretty well. The difference in strategy and tactic is something that people often get confused with as well. The tactics are like the tools you use. Do I want Shopify or WooCommerce? Do I want to advertise on Facebook or Google? The strategy is the big picture plan and how you implement that plan. Strategy is way more important than tactic. Tactics change. It's really, I teach Facebook ads to a lot of beginner to intermediate people. I have to update those videos all the freaking time because it changes so often, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like, I hate doing those because you have to update it all the time. It's almost like by the time I hit publish, it doesn't even look like that anymore. Right?
And people and business owners, like, I mean, my clients that I spoke with last week, I mean, because, we're at the end of the month, so now we're in the mode of reports and consulting, right? Because you consult on the last week of the month and you're giving your report at the new first week in the new month.
Right.
And we're in that mode, and they're like, oh my gosh, why is, what I did to rather than tell them that doing the nitty-gritty stuff is very long, time consuming.
Right.
I actually said, okay, I'm going to show you how to do it. And they're like, oh my gosh, I got to do that. Oh my gosh, I got to do that. Because the business owner does not appreciate how much work goes into, I give them one sentence, but that actually takes 10 hours to execute. I mean, So easier said than done. Going back to the secret sauce, a lot of people think that I have just invented the best sliced bread, and then they go out there and they talk about, going back to your features story. Right. Why is it that features won't work when I'm talking about my best software app that I just built, and how would a launch, because you said you've done launches, how would a launch who focuses on features differ to a launch that focuses on the who that you're selling to?
The benefit.
Yeah.
Benefit. Yeah.
I don't even think they would compare. I think the feature focused launch would be a failure to launch, probably.
Yeah.
And it's, if it's good, there's a certain percentage of people who just want to try the cool new things, right?
Yeah.
They like to be the first ones to try. Yeah. For most people who would be in that target audience, they're thinking of themselves first. So they have to be able to, let's say it's an app on your phone, right? Mm-hmm. They've got to be able to see themselves opening up that app and using it. How are they going to use it? How is it going to help make their life better? Mm-hmm. Or make, a lot of fitness apps, like you were talking about Fitbit. How does it make it easier for me to exercise? Because I don't like getting up and going to the gym in the morning. So is this going to, the apps that give you rewards when you hit your goals and things like that, are the ones that perform the best, because it gives us that little dopamine rush, even though it's imaginary, right?
Yeah.
It still works. It's like we're internally, we're all still kind of toddlers about things like that. So.
We are.
Yeah.
And that's where we talk about the hidden strategies. People don't see the strategy. If, like, for instance, I'm spying on my competitor, I'm not going to see his strategy. No. All right.
You're going to see the tactics. You're going to see what he does.
You're going to see the tactics. Exactly. And so you think that his success is in the tactics, and you think that his success is in what he's using. You think that his success is in the videos that he's producing. Yeah. But it's not necessarily the video. It's what features on his, not features, what he's saying, the actual content of his video.
Mm-hmm. The best way I know to present that to new people, right? The two things to remember. Everyone loves a hack. And I think we have funnel hacking to thank for that becoming so prevalent in our language. Remember that just a few hundred years ago, a hack was somebody who was pretending to be a professional that wasn't.
Oh, is that so?
Bad thing, right?
It was a bad thing.
So I think that word really has two meanings, because now I think most people see it as it's a shortcut.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right? And sometimes shortcuts work, sometimes they don't. Mm-hmm. If you're doing it to model, so not to copy, but to model the way someone else has found success, that's okay. Don't copy, because then you just look like you're copying and like you didn't have your own original idea and you had to copy somebody else. But if you're modeling something that's working for others and you make it your own in the process, that's okay. Put your own personality in there. And I totally lost the second thing I was going to say. It'll come back in a minute.
Hacks. We're talking about hacks and how we've taken something that we used to run away from and make it something that you want to run towards. All right. Now, I did it in a post last week where I talked about the gizmos and the gadgets. And everybody wants to be a go-go gizmo, a go-go gadget kind of guy. And that, how you would call it, that shiny object of running after trends, hacks, and tricks and the shortcut is actually going to cost you, the business owner, your profitability and your ability to be here in 2021, because right now we should be in survivor mode 2020. And so that's why I thought where Hillary and I came up with the idea of putting August out as your no BS marketing strategy for your
Roll up your
Christmas
sleeves and
sales.
get ready for the holidays because they're coming whether we're ready
you
or
gotta
not.
you gotta get ready now.
Yeah.
Usually you'd get ready in October. No, you gotta do it now.
And think, because I worked in corporate sales for such a long time, and I sold wine and spirits to restaurants, but also to retailers. Mm-hmm. So chain stores plan their holiday promotions January through March. They're done by the end of March. How many of them do you think are revisiting those ideas right now? That's like out of their corporate calendar because this is not a normal year. Mm-hmm. And so my second thing, based on your like, how are you different and the best sliced bread, right? It's how does the bread make them feel? Emotions, feelings, tap into those emotions with people. This is the best baked bread. It makes me feel like I'm in my grandma's kitchen.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Take them back down memory lane.
Yeah. It's got to be stories, use metaphors, use things that give them an olfactory memory, a smell is much stronger than a visual memory. For most people, it's a bigger emotional trigger. Echoic memory too. So consistently showing up. You guys do this show every week. People remember your voices, and that's the echoic memory. And choosing the tools to get yourself ready for this holiday season doesn't mean you're making a 50-year commitment to Shopify or to WooCommerce or another tool. It means this is what you're choosing to do right now, and you're committing to stick with it through the end of this holiday selling season and see how it works for you. Yeah. It's marketing. It might work. It might not. Exactly. But if you do the work and you're consistent in your message and where you show up for your people that you're trying to serve, you have a much better chance of doing it than if you throw a bunch of stuff out there on November 1st. Start showing up now.
Right. Yeah. And what we also want to point out is that choosing the tools and the software should come after the strategy and the who.
Yeah.
And I mean, it happens in my clients. They have no idea who their who is, even though they're in business for the last 10 years. They're like, anybody who comes in my door is my who. I'm like, it don't work like that online.
Yeah. But if you have to go find them, then you need a clearer idea on that, right?
Right.
And I have a lot of people get really detailed on their like perfect client avatar and those things. I think especially for e-commerce, it's great if you want to have like, hey, this is Jane and she's a mom of a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old and blah, blah, blah. Fine. It's much more important that you know who your target audience is when you have a storefront online. I serve in my business. I don't serve either men or women. I serve whoever is a business owner that is ready to grow their business. And I do not as often serve the brand new people who are thinking of starting a business.
Yeah, because they got to go through a lot of learning.
So they've got a lot to learn, right? And I do still get some of those in my audience. It's funny, I'm starting a brand new page because I still have so many people from like the last 5 or 6 years that aren't really my target market anymore,
Right.
So it's being clear and being willing to do those things when you realize, like, I've changed who my target audience is over the last year and who I serve. So I realized in a recent campaign, I've still got too many of that old audience. I just need to make a clean break and start over. And so if you do change your product mix or change your target audience, you might need to put everything on a new domain or start a new Facebook page or start a new ad account in Pixel so that it's trained to find different people and little things like that. And I know if you're not into the tech, it might sound like Charlie Brown's teacher of wah, 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 wah. Those are all not difficult. And that's actually what you do after the tools. So your who, how you're going to serve them, the tools you're going to use to get in front of them, and then the traffic. It's the very last thing you need to worry about.
Yes.
I think most people do that in the reverse.
Most people do. But look, most of us did, right?
Yeah.
I think like the very first event I went to, they taught us how to run a Facebook ad the very first day.
Yeah.
Because that's what people want. And
Right.
that's what they think that the solution is. So they give
And
what
you
we
work
want.
back. Mhm.
And then we, the smart marketers, give them what they need to generate the sales. So big question I'm asking to you, business marketers and business executives and business owners. Do you want to increase your online sales to more than 250,000 a month? Do you want to increase by 250,000 a month? It is possible, but you got to do it the right way. So in 3 weeks' time, we're going to ask Penny Kelly to join us again to give you the blueprint that you need. Okay, we're laying it out step by step, the blueprint simplified so that you can apply it to your whatever it is that you have right now. We don't want to complicate it with too many tools and systems and changing into a whole bunch of different business transformations. We want you to be able to apply it so that it can work for you this Christmas. At the end of Christmas, come January, whatever, we review it, you review it. If you want us to review it, no problem. And then you make another decision then. But make the decisions, and like I tell my kids, if you fail, no problem, you've learned something. If you succeed, celebrate. Either way, the decision was yours. Celebrate that you made a decision. All right? So Penny, thank you very much for joining us. I think that was great.
Thanks for having me.
Great stuff. Hillary?
Yes, everyone, have a great day, and we'll see you next week, Thursday. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.